Hi, I'm Eric, and this is Platform. This is the place where ideas are discussed and examined. Before we begin, we'll show you some bio on each of our guests. I'll be interviewing them one at a time, and we'll edit their thoughts into a final program. Please enjoy the lovely elevator music from our house band as we introduce each of our guests. Today we're going to talk about death. What happens after you die, and why do you believe that?
Well, I was trained as a neurophysiologist, essentially. What neurophysiologists say about death and the near-death experience is that, oxygen starvation in the brain causes the tunnel of light, and the similarities between NDEs, near-death experiences between people, is accounted for by the cells dying and releasing substances that make us feel good.
It's real science.
It's science, but they actually don't know, and they certainly can't explain certain things about near-death experiences. And so I actually have rejected that as an explanation, the scientific explanation. It's not really a scientific explanation because it's not open to science. It's how do you actually investigate it? You can't do control groups where, some people die and some people don't die. You're relying on people's subjective experiences, and you have to make of that what you can. And the fact that I have had out-of-body experiences and similar experiences in my life 3 or 4 times, that starts to make sense to me, that there is a kind of a common passage. But yes, I do believe that there is a greater reality that we're barely aware of here.
I think that there's more to us as souls. I also, having lost so many people in my life, I can't believe that they're just gone. But I believe that a part of them is doing something that they truly, really enjoyed in this lifetime. So for my dad, I believe he's playing poker with Jimi Hendrix and Jerry Garcia and his father and other members of classic rock bands that have died that I can't name right now. Keith Moon, there we go.
That's a tough question. There's so many answers to that. I would say I personally believe in, I guess, something around reincarnation. Like there's a finite amount of souls or energy in this world. So when somebody dies, that soul or energy goes into the person who's born at that exact second or the second afterwards or something like that. Yes.
I don't know. I think it's like our shells decompose and when our life force leaves it.
And do you have any?
Well, I know exactly what happens when you die.
You do?
No.
That's good.
No, really, of course, nobody knows what happens when we die.
What's your guess?
Well, sometimes I'm just flat enough to think, nothing happens. We die. That's it. The end. Nothing. But I think there is enough people with experiences out there that have had communication with people that have died, that there's got to be something, our spirit, our soul lives on in some way.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. I have no answer to that.
You don't know either?
No, I don't.
And that is the thing, nobody really knows the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
And I think certain religions, try to say, well, if you're Southern Baptist, then
Yeah.
you're going to go to heaven or
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. And those people believe that.
Yeah. The majority of the people in this country believe that.
Yep. Heaven or hell, and
That's pretty frightening, isn't it?
it is. Or reincarnation. And
Are you afraid of death? And is the fear of death inevitable?
Well, of course I fear death, you know. I mean, self-preservation makes you fear death, doesn't it?
A little bit. I mean, one's afraid of suffering, before death. After death, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I would say I'm afraid of death. I think about it a lot because just what work I do, I see people getting, sick and dying, and maybe before the end should be. But on the other hand, I also see people that are, it's like it is their time. I mean, they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pass, and for that, I don't have fears, and I would, like to even help people through their death if they've reached their time. And,
You've done that before, right?
I have, yep. So,
Did
in a very legal way, by the way.
Very legal.
Nothing fishy about it.
No.
But yeah, I think most people have fears about death. Just it's the fear of the unknown, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, because it is unknown. So while we can sit here and talk about what we think is going to happen, we don't actually know, and that's kind of scary.
Would you want to know the date and manner of your death?
I wouldn't want to know.
You wouldn't want to know?
No.
Probably not. I don't know. If it was a long way away, it would be fine.
20, 40 something.
Can I negotiate?
You would? You'd like to know when you're going to die?
I think if I was 90 years old, whatever, and I knew that I was getting there, it was my time, I would like to say, you know what, let's make a plan.
What about now? What about right now?
No, I guess not. Yeah, probably not.
Do you think that the medical system should do everything possible to prolong life?
No. It's really a case-by-case basis, though, in my opinion. I mean, if at some point in time there's a guarantee that they will never, ever be themselves again, I think that at that point it's kind of a waste of everybody's emotional resources to keep their life going like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if there is a chance, then why not give them that chance?
It's hard to say that when you're not in that position.
Exactly. You're right. You're absolutely right.
No, I think there are some cases where it's better to let go of life than to prolong it at any cost, particularly the cost of suffering of the patient. But I think in the medical world, there's come to be kind of an agreement amongst the nurses that take care of terminal patients that they will ease them on their way.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and it seems to be a culturally acceptable thing.
No.
No?
I think there's a fine line between living and dead. And again, my father was on life support, and my mother kept him on life support until I was there to make the decision. And I think I kind of shocked the doctor in how immediate I said, no, unplug him, because that's not my dad.
Yeah.
He was physically there.
Yeah.
And I know that there were parts of him that were still physically there, because when I would talk to him, he would I could feel him grab my hand, or a tear would stream down his face. So I knew he could hear. And I feel like that was probably the most torturous state he'd ever been in. For him to not have the physicality to express how he was feeling. And he was trapped for 14 hours in his own self, in his own brain.
Yeah.
No, and that I do have sort of strong feelings about that. Just in my experience, is sometimes I see that the medical, a lot of medical professionals do try to do everything to extend life, and sometimes it seems like there should be much more conversation early on, first of all, about having advanced directives and stating what you want and don't want. But for sure, if somebody, their quality of life is going down quickly and they're ill, then it seems like let's talk about a lovely death instead of how can we keep you alive and keeping you on antibiotics and keeping you on the ventilator. And so no, I guess I feel like I hope medical school is now promoting that a little bit more about they are actually about doctors talking to their patients earlier on instead of extending things out.
Yeah, I mean, if your quality of life is good, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
My cousin just died about 5 days ago. She was 97. And her son called me, and she didn't know who they were for the last 2 years. She was in a nursing home plugged in for a long time because the younger son couldn't say goodbye to mommy.
Oh,
And but that's no way to go.
no.
Unless, well, I don't know, psychedelics in your IV or something.
That'd be nice.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to thank our guests, and I want to thank you for watching.
Boom. Shaka.